The Millionaire Next Door, Thomas J. Stanley, with William Donko. Thomas J. Stanley was not your typical financial author. He wasn't a celebrity money coach shouting into a camera or a Wall Street tycoon handing down investment secrets. He was a quiet, methodical researcher, sociologist of wealth, with a PhD in business administration from the University of Georgia. Stanley spent decades diving deep into the habits, behaviors, and lifestyles of America's millionaires. He co-wrote The Millionaire Next Door with William Donko, a book that turned conventional ideas of wealth upside down. Rather than focusing on the flashy rich who flaunt their wealth, Stanley chose to study those who lived modestly, drove ordinary cars, and quietly amassed fortunes through consistent habits. What he discovered was both surprising and profoundly important. The vast majority of millionaires aren't who we think they are. They're not celebrities, not high-flying executives, and certainly not living in penthouses. They're your neighbors. They're small business owners, teachers, engineers, and self-employed professionals who live well below their means. Stanley's work was revolutionary because it replaced fantasy with fact and hype with humility. His writing challenged the American dream's shiny surface and exposed a deeper truth, one rooted in behavior, discipline, and long-term thinking. Let's now explore 5 core ideas from The Millionaire Next Door, each one acting like a compass for anyone hoping to build genuine, lasting wealth. The first core idea is that most millionaires are frugal, not flashy. Imagine wealth not as a Lamborghini roaring down a freeway, but as a well-worn Toyota parked quietly in a suburban driveway. Stanley found that most millionaires don't live in gated communities or shop on Rodeo Drive. They live in average neighborhoods, buy used cars, and spend far less than they earn. To them, frugality isn't about deprivation, it's about freedom. Every dollar not spent is a dollar invested in future independence. They don't chase status, they chase security. This stands in sharp contrast to popular culture's image of wealth, where success is measured in brand names and luxury vacations. Stanley's research shows that those who look rich often aren't, and those who are rich rarely look it. The second key concept is what Stanley calls economic outpatient care. This refers to financially successful parents giving money to their adult children, paying their bills, buying their homes, supplementing their lifestyles. It may seem generous, but it's like giving someone a luxury yacht without teaching them how to sail. The result? Financial dependence, a lack of drive, and often, a complete disconnection from the value of money. Stanley found that the adult children of millionaires who did not receive financial help were actually more likely to build wealth themselves. The lesson here is simple but powerful. True financial strength comes from learning to stand on your own, not from being carried. The third core idea is that income does not equal wealth. Imagine 2 streams flowing through a valley. One is wide and rushing but shallow. This is high income. The other is narrow and deepest is wealth. Many high-income earners live paycheck to paycheck, spending almost everything they earn to maintain a certain lifestyle. Meanwhile, someone with a modest income who saves diligently and invests wisely can become a millionaire over time. Stanley called these 2 groups under accumulators of wealth and prodigious accumulators of wealth. The UAW might earn 6 figures but save nothing. The Paul might earn $60,000 but retire with millions. It's not what you earn, it's what you keep that builds wealth. The fourth principle is that wealthy people plan, budget, and track their finances meticulously. Think of them like skilled architects designing a house. They don't just wing it, they have blueprints, goals, and routines. Millionaires know where their money is going. They often have detailed financial plans, investment strategies, and retirement projections. According to Stanley's findings, they spend significantly more time each month planning their financial future than the average American. While most people avoid budgeting because it feels restrictive, millionaires embrace it as a tool for building freedom and security. The fifth idea is that time is more valuable than money. Stanley discovered that millionaires are incredibly protective of their time. They delegate tasks they don't need to do themselves, automate parts of their financial life, and focus their energy on high-impact decisions. For them, every dollar saved or invested wisely represents time bought back, time with family, time for travel, time for passion projects. While others trade time for money, millionaires often reverse the equation. They let their money work for them so they can reclaim their time. Now, no book, no matter how beloved, is above criticism, and The Millionaire Next Door has faced its fair share of critiques, which are important to consider. First, the book's data is somewhat outdated. Originally published in 1996, it reflects an era before the rise of tech entrepreneurship, the gig economy, or today's housing crisis. While many of its principles still apply, the financial landscape has shifted. Housing, healthcare, and education costs have all skyrocketed. The American economy today is different from the one Stanley studied, and some readers feel the book doesn't fully capture today's financial challenges. Second, critics argue that the book overgeneralizes the path to wealth. By focusing so heavily on frugality, it sometimes implies that cutting expenses is the primary or only road to becoming wealthy. But many paths exist: entrepreneurship, innovation, and while frugality is a valuable tool, it's not the only one. Critics worry this creates a one-sided model that might not reflect the diversity of real-life success stories. Third, the book idealizes a specific personality type but not everyone is wired that way. Some people are creative, others thrive in collaborative environments or value experiences over spreadsheets. While the behaviors Stanley identifies are statistically effective, they may not resonate with every reader's values or strengths. And fourth, The Millionaire Next Door has been criticized for its moral overtones. At times, it seems to suggest that people who are not wealthy are simply irresponsible or lazy. This perspective fails to account for systemic issues like generational poverty, discrimination, medical debt, or regional economic disparities that can affect financial outcomes regardless of personal discipline. Not everyone starts from the same place, and financial success is not always a reflection of personal virtue. So, with all of this in mind, what can we take from The Millionaire Next Door and apply to our own lives right now, today? Here are 3 powerful, actionable takeaways. First, track your spending with intention. Think of yourself as a financial scientist. Gather data, look at your statements, understand every subscription, every recurring charge, every impulse buy. Awareness is the beginning of transformation. If you don't know where your money is going, you can't control it. Second, resist lifestyle inflation. When your income goes up, keep your lifestyle stable. Don't upgrade your car, your house, or your wardrobe just because you can. Instead, channel that extra money into investments or saving. Let your money create a cushion of freedom, not a cage of new obligations. Third, invest with a long-term mindset. Avoid get-rich-quick schemes or flashy crypto tips on TikTok. Instead, build a boring, consistent portfolio of diversified assets, index funds, retirement accounts, real estate. Millionaires aren't gamblers. They're builders, and they build patiently. In the final analysis, The Millionaire Next Door is not about hoarding pennies or living joylessly. It's about redefining what it means to be rich. True wealth is not measured by what you spend, but by what you keep hand, by the freedom that savings provides. It's the ability to make choices, to live on your terms, and to leave a legacy not just of money, but of wisdom. So the next time you picture a millionaire, don't imagine a yacht party in Miami. Picture a modest home, a beat-up truck, and a couple who built a quiet fortune one smart decision at a time. That's the real Millionaire Next Door. Now, let us take a moment to look beyond The Millionaire Next Door, because its central ideas are not standing alone. In fact, many of its insights echo across the pages of other influential personal finance books, forming a kind of shared wisdom among authors who have studied wealth deeply. One of the clearest parallels comes from Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. While Kiyosaki's style is more anecdotal and philosophical, his core message aligns with Stanley's, that wealth is about mindset and habits, not income or appearance. Kiyosaki teaches the importance of acquiring assets that generate cash flow, real estate, investments, businesses, rather than spending on liabilities that drain money. Like Stanley, he argues that financial independence comes from knowledge, discipline, and long-term thinking, not from high salaries or status symbols. Then There's Your Money or Your Life by Vicky, Robin, and Joe DeMille, a book that goes even deeper into the psychological relationship we have with money. Robin emphasizes that every dollar spent represents hours of your life traded away. This concept mirrors Stanley's idea that millionaires value time over material things. Both books encourage readers to shift from consumerism to conscious spending, to prioritize life satisfaction over lifestyle inflation. Another key complement to Stanley's work is The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Explores how emotions, biases, and behaviors drive financial outcomes more than raw intelligence or technical skill. He, like Stanley, dismantles the myth that high earners are always financially successful. In fact, both authors make it clear, wealth is often invisible. It's built by people who are patient, humble, and willing to forego immediate gratification. Additionally, Atomic Habits by James Clear can be seen as a broader behavioral framework that supports the wealth building strategies in The Millionaire Next Door. Clear's thesis is that small, consistent actions compound into extraordinary results over time. That's exactly how Stanley's millionaires build their fortunes, systematically. Budgeting, saving, investing, they're all small behaviors repeated with discipline over decades. And let's not forget The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins, which distills the art of long-term investing into one central theme. Financial freedom is achievable through frugality, simplicity, and investing in broad market index funds. Collins and Stanley both praise the quiet, unsexy path to wealth. They both highlight how unnecessary it is to chase financial fads or flashy returns when slow, steady growth does the job better. What's remarkable is how these authors, writing from different backgrounds, different decades, and different life philosophies, all arrive at the same conclusion. Real wealth isn't loud. It doesn't need to prove itself. It's about having control over your time, your choices, and your future. This overlap reinforces a simple truth. If you keep hearing the same message from multiple credible sources, it's probably worth paying attention to. The millionaire next door may look ordinary, but the principles behind their wealth are extraordinary in their consistency. Thank you for watching till the end. If you found this summary valuable, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs a boost of inspiration. If you want the summary of any book, just type its title in the chat box and we will try our best to provide its deep summary. Until next time, keep thinking, keep growing, and remember, success begins in the mind.